In Colombia, there are scenes of acute violence that hadn't been seen in years. Cemeteries are overflowing with victims of the armed conflict. Tens of thousands are confined to their homes due to active fighting between armed groups. Meantime, government officials are warning of dangers due to new landmines. One of the main actors in the conflict is the National Liberation Army, known by its acronym, the ELN. After several failed attempts, Colombian President Gustavo Petro has called off peace negotiations with the ELN due to this new offensive.
Before, it was believed that peace was reached through the large organizations, and we are seeing the need to reach regional arrangements in specifically defined territories with smaller organizations that have control of that territory and affect the governability of that territory, because they are many times the authority where the government is not present.
Carlos Velandia is a government peace advisor and former commander of the ELN. He says the government's strategy of total peace requires a much more dedicated approach of resolving underlying poverty issues in the most remote parts of the country, where armed groups are profiting from illegal economies.
In one government, you cannot resolve all the problems that haven't been resolved in 60 years. This is an accumulation of violence, of organization, and it will require more governments to go in the same direction.
The ELN and the Colombian government have had many points of contention during peace talks, one of them being kidnappings for ransom. While hostage-taking was one of the revenue streams of the ELN for decades, Velandia says that is no longer the case. He says the rise in abductions by the ELN was used to put pressure on the government.
The wealthy are not going through that region. They are kidnapping the merchants, the bus drivers. That is not how you maintain a guerrilla financially. Hopefully, they will let that point go, as the government will not concede to that negotiating tool. The ELN needs to respect humanitarian rights.
Velandia calls for the current leaders of the ELN to promote humane treatment of all people.
I ask that they take into consideration life, the lives of human beings, their combatants, but also that of the policemen, the soldiers, the farmers they are killing. They are taking the lives of people who deserve to live. It is not valid to have a revolutionary and transformative discourse and take someone's life.
Even though Colombia's president suspended peace talks, Velandia says he maintains hope for resuming talks in the future. Begue, CGTN, Bogotá, Colombia.